We often get a question from people, how do I actually do that? You talk about changing beliefs all
Huh.
the time, but I try to hold a different thought in my mind or think something different about myself, and it
Yeah.
just doesn't stick. Like what do I do? That sounds nice, but how do I do it? And this is basically what you do. So I mostly just want to kick the ball over into your court here, and you're welcome to go wherever you want with this. But I would love you to walk us through a really practical example of how somebody could do this in their life. I know one that's really important for people is issues related to self worth. But if you want to take it in a different direction, you're totally welcome to.
Step one, name the belief. It can be helpful to do it as an exercise where you write it on paper. Sometimes when you actually put it on paper and you don't censor yourself, you really let the parts of you that believe that belief and are pushing it in their misguided but well-intended efforts to help you. When you really let them talk, in effect, you really put the belief down. When you step back from it, you realize, wow, that's just so not true. But just let yourself see it. Say it out loud. A nice, interesting exercise is to pick a belief, identify it, put it into language, and then say it out loud with or without another person hearing you. And then, ask yourself how you feel once you said it.
Mm.
Then, second, once you have it out on the table, it's really useful to ask yourself, okay, what is true about this belief? So you give it its due. You don't attack it initially. You appreciate it. You respect it. Well, what is true about it? You see that part? Like, is it true in certain settings? Is it true with certain people? Has it been true in the past, right? Third, what's the function the belief serves? This is very useful. What are the benefits of that belief? What does it do in terms of helping me be safe, to protect myself, to get along with other people, to kind of shore up my feeling of identity or my own worth? What are the functions it serves? It might be a function of leading me to not do stuff that when I was a kid got me punished. Like a belief that, I'm, uh, not very smart would then just naturally lead me to not speak up in some kind of loose way that got laughed at when I was in school.
Yeah, that what the function part of it is huge, I think.
And then in the fourth step, you ask yourself, well, what's not true about this belief? And what are the costs to me and others of it? And here too, you're being, uh, in the way I've described, you're being neutral, you're being fair, you're exploring it. What's not true about it? Is it actually true? So we explore that, and you see the ways in which it's not true. And you also explore what's the cost to me of this belief. So the third question is about what's the payoff? What's the function? Now, in the fourth question, we're asking ourselves what's untrue and what are the costs? And then finally, you get to the fifth step, which is about what would be an alternative belief that would be more true and less costly in the service of whatever is legitimate in the function that you've clarified for yourself in the third step. In other words, think of the belief as a vehicle. It got you here. And yeah, it's kind of a cramped and smelly and leaky rowboat, but you know how to work it. You know, it gets you across the bay. All right. What would be a better vehicle?
Yeah.
The sixth step, now you've started to identify what the better way is, the better perspectives. Now you want to develop conviction by repeating it to yourself, by surfacing your yes buts. And you want to really ask yourself, am I prepared to step away from that old, familiar, but problematic way of being into this new way of being? Which one do you want to win? You've got two lawyers arguing in your head. You know, the old lawyer, you're a schmuck. You suck. You're no good. Or the new lawyer who's like, wait a minute here. Know what it feels like to really believe something is true. I think about, I believe, Oprah's question to people, what's one thing you know for sure? What does it feel like to know something for sure? And then can you help yourself gradually inhabit that way of relating to this particular belief? And then also take a look at how would you manifest this belief? How would you put it into practice? How would you apply it? How would you operationalize that belief? How would you act upon that belief in new ways? You know, write those down or know what they are, visualize them. And then if you really want a bonus here, you can quite helpfully, and I've done this, imagine yourself acting on the basis. This is a very effective trick to the brain. It's 3 steps. Imagine yourself acting on the basis of the new way of being, and realistically imagine the rewards of it for you and others and how wonderful it will be. Okay. Imagine yourself working through yes buts or obstructions or difficulties in realistic ways successfully with a felt sense of how rewarding that would be. Then just imagine kind of quickly what it would be like to operate on the basis of the old belief with awareness of what's not true about it, and also potentially how it was installed in you by people that you're not very happy about, sticking that sucker in your head and programming you with it, and observe the cost of it. Okay, great. So you run out the second scenario, operating on the basis of that old way of looking. Then you make an existential choice. Which one? Which one do you pick? It's you. It's you existentially. Which one do you pick? People usually pick the higher road belief. And then imagine yourself again operating on the basis of the new belief and experiencing in your imagination, and ideally in a felt way, how good it will be for you and others to do that.